All right, we're good.
So this is technically episode 2, but technically episode 1.
Yeah, we recorded the first episode. Apparently it didn't save. So we just spoke for 30 minutes looking at nothing.
Fun times.
But yeah, so to reintroduce everything, we are the Lost Boyz Podcast. I'm Gianni.
Brandon.
And yeah, Lost Boyz Podcast.
Technically episode 1.
Yeah, welcome to episode 1. But yeah, if somehow we figure out how to recover the footage, we'll post that. But for now, basically what the podcast is about, since we already went into detail about it in the last episode for no reason, is basically me and my cousin Brandon, 2 lost boys. We're just lost with what we want to do with life and things like that. And then we're just using this as a platform to express how we feel. And maybe somebody else feels the same way, can relate, and we could help you somehow. Or if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments or DM us or ask us, and we could talk about it. We could give our perspective or opinion to our best belief and knowledge. Doesn't mean it's always going to be right, but we're always going to try to give the best information possible.
Look, at the end of the day, everybody, if you're in your early 20s, even if you're still in high school, you see people and you think, oh, this person has it figured out, right? You think that things are just nice, but in reality, everybody's lost and everybody's just trying to figure it out. If you're stressing school, money, relationships, family issues, just know there's people everywhere that are stressing the same thing as you. Yeah. Even though we block ourselves off from thinking that there are other people
in our same shoes.
Our same shoes.
And even people older, in their 30s and 40s too, still deal with it. I've heard people in their 30s that are successful say the same thing, I'm 35, I'm a millionaire, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. I don't know if we could curse on YouTube, but we'll bleep it out if anything. Yeah. But yeah, and I definitely see it happen a lot with people around our age. We're 23, especially high schoolers going into college and things like that. I know for me, I went to college not because I wanted to go to college, but more just it was just what was expected. But then I realized along the way that I don't know if I want to be here no more, and then that caused a whole nother dilemma in my life. So yeah, I feel there's so many other people that deal with that. So I think there are benefits to college, but there's also downsides to college too, depending on what it is you wanted, what you think you want to do with your life. Because some people do have it figured out, but the majority of us don't.
Yeah, we always use the example of, if you know you want to be a doctor, then cool, college isn't going to be a breeze for you, but you're just going to go through the steps necessary because you know what you want to do already. You have it, that at least figured out, your plan is set. But if you're in your early 20s, or I keep saying that, but 18, 19, you're about to go into college and you don't know what you want to do, I'll use my personal example. I went in as an accounting major, then I switched to marketing, business management, administration, economics, right? And in that case, in all that, that's when I realized I'm setting up a lot of debt, the potential for a lot of debt, without knowing what my reward was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I liked the idea of business, but you can't just be a business major. There's so many branches to it, and it gets really narrow. So for me, it was I had to think about the debt aspect, and I was my only true fear in life, besides water, is massive amounts of debt. That's always made me uncomfortable. So for me, I was nah, I need to take a step back.
Yeah, and I agree too. I think if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, those specific things, yes, please go to college. Please do not skip that part. Go to school. But if you want to I don't know, own a business, or I don't even know, simple things, you really don't need the college degree. You just need to be taught the skill, and once you know the skill, then you know how to do the skill. The degree doesn't really mean you know how to do it. There's so many people that graduate with a psychology major, for example, which was what my major was for a semester. But psych degrees, right? People graduate with a psychology degree in a bachelor's of it, and literally it means absolutely nothing when you translate it to the real world. The only way your psychology degree matters is if you have either a master's with a ton of certifications or your PhD. So it's like, at what point was it worth spending all that money if you don't want to be a psychologist and things like that? Like in my personal experience, I first went to college, one, because I was playing baseball. So I knew, okay, well, if I want to play, I have to go to class and stuff like that. But two, I was there and I also didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just did general studies for 2 years and I got my associates, and then it was time for me to actually pick like a real major, and I had absolutely no idea what to do. And the real reason why, because I used to say another reason, but the true reason why I really picked psychology was because I didn't have to take math anymore. But the reality was I had no idea what it was I wanted to do, and I just knew I didn't want to do math. It's like, okay, I guess I'll do psychology then. But then I just wasted my money I did the semester and I passed, but I just wasted my money for the semester because I didn't get nowhere, and I barely learned because I didn't care to learn, because I wasn't interested in college in general. But I also didn't know what it was I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And like I felt like that affected me too. And then that also made me feel like at first I dropped out and everything, and it was during the quarantine time too. So then I wasn't really thinking about it, just kind of living life. But then afterwards, like that following year after quarantine, like a whole year later, 2021, is when everyone I knew started to graduate. And I was like supposed to graduate like about a semester and a half later. And that's when I was like, damn, like I feel like I'm behind on life now. And then that's when like reality started to hit a little harder.
Yeah.
But that's when I was more like, damn, like, okay, what is it that I want to do with my life? But then I always found myself falling into like this like pickle and like falling down. And like, if there's one thing about me, I'm like never sad. So I hate being sad. So if I think about something that makes me sad, I just neglect the thought in general. So then I would just like avoid it. But then occasionally it'll come back and I'm just like, damn, what am I doing in my life? And then like I see other people my age, they at least graduated. And like it looks like they're doing good, even though I know the majority of them are just as lost as I am. Very and true. When talking to them, they admit it. But it makes you feel like you're behind in life, Like they at least have a career even though they're lost. And I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah. I just don't see it for me. Like I just see myself somewhere else. I just haven't figured out how to get there. Like I know where I want to be. I just don't know how to get there.
And I think that's why it's so important. Like, you look at what we're doing, look at this podcast, look at anything, like the figuring out how to get there. You have a vision for yourself, but it's just a matter of, I always say, like throwing out the lines or shooting shots, right?
Yeah.
Where you just have to experience until you and I and anybody else watching finds what it is that it's like, oh, I can do this. And, oh, wait, I really like this. Oh, wait, I actually made some money with this. Hold on. And then that turns into X, Y, and Z. Like, for example, one of the most motivating things I've ever seen, it was, his name was Gerard Adams. And he said the craziest moment was when his little, like, hustles started making him some money, and $3,000 turned into $6,000. And he was like, yo, I just made $6,000 doing something that I liked. And then he ended up turning that into a multi-million-dollar business. But it's just that that inspiration of finding something that you like that you can turn into. Doesn't even have to be a business, but if you find out you're a good writer, you end up getting a job at, like, I don't know where writers get jobs, at a newspaper or something, and it fulfills you're feeling good and you can enjoy what you're doing. You can find that without, not to trash talk college, but you can find that on your own, just experimenting, throwing out like fishing lines. Like, you put the bait on the end of the fishing line is like where you want to go, and then you just keep throwing the line out until you find the fish that is going to take you to where you want to go. In this case, a podcast or writing, or for a lot of people, blogging too. Yeah. There's a lot of people who are in such niche markets, but then they wound up talking about it publicly, and then they found millions of other people that think the same way that they do. So for me,
yeah, I think a lot of people make that mistake too, where they think they're the only ones. Because I don't know, like for me, like growing up too, like there were certain things like I just feel like I naturally knew, and I just assumed everybody thought the same way, until I got older, and I was like, wait, nobody thinks this way.
Yeah.
Or, like, the majority don't. And then, like, I feel like there's a big misconception about that. Like, a lot of people think, like, their situation is the only one going through it. And there's no end to it. Like, it's over. And they just give up and tap out. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Like, yeah, am I lost with life and stuff? Yes. But I also, even though, yes, a lot of the times I end up sitting on my ass and I end up becoming lazy, I still find a little bit in me to do something productive or something good. Like, don't get me wrong, the majority of the time, it's not. Or the majority of the time, I'm usually wasting time, and I'm aware of it. So I'm trying to fix it, but it's also not the easy. Like, it's not going to happen just like that. Like, it's a slow progress. But, like, for example, where I work right now, I don't want to work there. Like, I know I don't belong there, and I know I can, like, I feel it myself. I do not belong here. Like, I see myself somewhere so different, and I feel it too. But I haven't found that answer of, damn, what is it that I want to do? And I've never done a podcast before. Like, this is our second episode ever. But now that the time has been going and we've been brainstorming more and coming up with different ideas that they're going to start to see more, and different stuff that probably you guys wouldn't even expect and things like that. Now is like starting to make me feel like, okay, wait, I think this is what I like. Like, I think sharing my truth, and if it helps one person, I think that's what fulfills me more than anything. And I think instead of trying to find like I don't know how to, like, your passion, I guess, because for some people they know their passion. For me, I didn't. I thought I knew my passion until I stopped playing baseball. And I was like, that was never my passion. And then I was like, what the heck? Like, what is my passion? And now I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's my purpose? Like, what fulfills me the best? Because that's ultimately what's going to lead me to a life I want to live. And it could end up being not lucrative at all. But at the end of the day, I rather feel fulfilled than to have all the money in the world and no time to ever spend it either. Yeah. So I don't know. The rant kind of went everywhere, but yeah, I just feel like for a while I've been wasting time, and then I always think, no, I can't do this. I can't make a YouTube video. I don't have this or that. Oh, I can't do this because I don't have this. Like, I always found the negatives instead of looking for the positives. And once I changed that, like, things have changed drastically. Where, like, now I always thought that, I don't have the best, we don't have a mic, so we can't do a podcast.
We're recording off of a phone right now.
Yeah, we're recording on this. Like, there's never a right time.
It's true.
You just got to find the time. You just got to make the time. Like, if you truly want it, you will make the time. Like, we're recording this right now. It's 12:30 in the morning on a Monday, like, going into Tuesday.
Monday night.
Yeah, like, we both work tomorrow, but we're just making it happen. We're trying to find the time. And whatever happens, happens.
Listen, there's a saying where, like, when you look at anything, right? And I feel like people who see things on YouTube will be like, oh, it must have been so cool to start a podcast in 2006 when YouTube was a baby, right? There's this thing, it's like, yeah, that was the best time to do it. The next best time is right now. Yeah. And the next best time after right now is tomorrow. Like, the best time to do anything is right fucking now. Like, the perfect time does not exist. And I feel like that's a myth. And I feel like we get that a lot from the movies we watch. And, like, you see everybody had their, like, eureka moment and started $1 billion business. But that's not the way life goes. Like, that's not realistic at all. The best time to do anything, to try anything, for you to find your passion is literally right now. Like, don't hesitate. Don't, you know what? All right, in 2 weeks I'll try it. No. If you can do it right now, fuck it. Do it right now.
Yep. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just start. And as it goes, you learn and you start getting better and better and better and better and better. But you're never going to start and then just from the jump be there. Like, there's no such thing as perfect. Like, no one is perfect. So why are you trying to make everything you do so perfect? If you know it'll never be perfect. Like, there's always going to be something you can upgrade. There's always something you could do better. Always something you could progress in. So, like, stop waiting for perfect and just and just do it. And work along the way to try and make it perfect to your definition of it. But don't wait till you're there. Grow as you, like, grow there.
Then that's what gets so, like, addicting about trying and just progressing is, it's like, let's use the gym as an example, right? You start working out, you work out 1 day, nothing happens. You work out 10 days, nothing happens. 20 days, nothing happens. But guess what? 2 months in of nothing happening, all of a sudden, you feel a little stronger. Maybe you got a little cut coming out, right? And you're like, oh, snap. That little realization that things are getting better, 20 podcast episodes from now, when things are getting better and conversations are flowing better and the videos looking better, that progress is so infectious.
Yep.
Like, it's super addicting. But the issue is, you got to get started to feel that progress. You got to get past, like, shout out Logan Paul, you got to get past that moment of inertia to feel like you're progressing. Yeah. This is where we are today. What's it going to be in a year from now? Or 3 years from now?
Who knows where could it be in 3 months from now? Like,
very true.
In a month from now, like, there's no way of truly knowing. Obviously, everyone wants it fast, but unless you start, you will never know. And like, the gym is a perfect example, because like, think about like that kid that like you have on that kid from high school that you have, or that girl from high school that you have on social media, who never worked out, maybe been on the heavier side, or maybe was super skinny, and then they never post nothing, no stories, no pictures on Instagram. Then all of a sudden, story after story after story, they're on their fitness grind, and they're trying to motivate everybody to be on it, because now they put their mind to something, and they did it for a little bit, and they saw a result, even the most minuscule result ever, that created momentum for them, and they just built upon the momentum, and now they're at a whole different place in life, mentally, physically, and like health-wise and everything. And like, that's how it is for me too. Like, even now, like, I've been going to the gym for on and off for a couple years now, but even then I still have those moments where like for example, the last 3 months I've been going to the gym every single week, 5 times a week for the last 3 months, and I have been struggling to get back to where I was, because I fell off, and I was struggling, and don't get me wrong, it was very discouraging. Like, 3 months in and I'm still putting up the same numbers. It's like, okay, like, what the heck is going on? Like, I'm trying to change programs, trying to eat different, everything. Nothing's working. Then all of a sudden, I woke up, went to the gym 1 week, literally last week, and out of nowhere, my numbers just skyrocketed. Like, I blew past all the numbers I was stuck at, and now I'm at like a whole different new level of strength. And now I'm pushing those numbers even faster. Like, this week was even stronger than the last week. All of a sudden, it's just a breakthrough moment. But up until then, it's just like, damn, and you just feel stuck until all out of nowhere, you just get that burst, and you just go. But if you never start, you'll never get the burst. So you got to start.
It's like, and I'm going to tie that into like a YouTube example even. So like you said, you were doing the same, and then you got that. Like, I felt good this week, and bam, you moved up to the next level, right?
Yeah.
One, I don't know physics, I don't know the universe, but I will bet my life that there's a law somewhere that says that momentum is the key to everything, right? Because you were going 5 days a week, you started building momentum. Even if you didn't feel it at first, but you're building momentum, and then bam, you moved on to the next level. And now you're going to go through this level, and then bam, one day you're going to go to the next level, right? That is the key to like, I feel like there's like a law of nature somewhere that says like momentum is key.
I agree. I think that's what everyone should strive for, to have momentum on their side. Like, don't strive for the end goal, strive for the momentum, because I think the momentum brings the desire to like fall in love with you end up falling in love with the process. Like, I know for me with the gym, when I have momentum, like, I'm seeing, like, I finally get that breakthrough moment, because it's happened multiple times where like, because I fall off, but now I've been going, and now that I get that breakthrough moment, like, I could definitely say I have momentum. And like, that momentum has been pushing me mentally too, to be able to push myself harder to a different level. Because before it's almost like you want to give up, so you kind of just you almost half-ass it. Like, you're like still trying to push, but that level of like, you don't tap into that different level.
The doubt is there.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you get momentum on your side, and there's just like I don't know, for me at least, speaking from my personal experience, there's almost like a different energy in my brain that like I can like talk myself up to pushing myself way harder than I've ever done before. And then once I unlock that, like, then it's easy to keep doing that. And then out of nowhere, then there's a new level of like, and then I literally surprise myself sometimes. Like, damn, what the heck? Like, I didn't know I could do that. But it's all through momentum. Like, I tried and I kept trying. I didn't try for a month and then just be like, oh, whatever. Like, I've tried the same exact weights, the same exact movements for 3 months straight until finally it actually moved. And now that I have the momentum and that mental capability of understanding, like, okay, I really can do this. As long as I just keep sticking to it, it's just so much easier.
So this is the example I was going to make before. Because you stuck with it, right? Imagine how many people have YouTube channels, have TikToks, everything like that, right? All the social medias, let's say. They keep posting. Maybe you're getting 100 views a video, right? Maybe, if that. Because even then, you're even getting views. You're succeeding. But you're doing that. And out of nowhere, a funny ass clip happens. Or something crazy happens within your niche, right? And that random TikTok or that random video goes viral. And guess what? Now you just moved into the next level.
Nope.
And now your 100 views a video turns into 2,000 views a video or X, Y, and Z. The common denominator with you at the gym or that person with that video or a writer whose fucking book finally got picked up, right? Anything is that you just keep going. And you, no matter what, as long as you're going, you're building momentum.
Yep.
As long as you don't stop, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
No matter what, you're still moving forward. You can't wake up, go to the gym. Even if you go through the fucking motions at the gym, you're still making progress.
Yep.
Because your body, even if it's not physical progress, you're not gonna feel the best after the gym, right? You know, that usual good feeling after the gym. But guess what? You made progress mentally because you overcame the want to not go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's still progress.
Yep. I agree.
Momentum.
And like to tie it back in, like we said, there's never a right time. Like, think about people that make music. Like, everybody loves to make music. Obviously, not everybody's the biggest star in the world. But there are stars in the world who literally put 10, 15 years into their craft. And they just did it. Like, they were seeing no results, no numbers, no recognition, no nothing. They go to it. If they're lucky enough that they can actually perform at a venue, 5 people show up, but they didn't give up. You know, they just kept going. They had a vision. They had an end goal. They knew where they wanted to be. They knew that, okay, this is what I'm gonna do to get there, and then they just did what they had to do to get there. And then eventually they got there, but there was never like a right time for them to start. It wasn't like, oh, well, they blew up at 25. Oh, maybe they should have started at 24. That way they had a year to prepare for it. It's like, no, they blew up at 25, but they probably started writing music as a kid when they were like 10 years old. Like, there's never a right time. And then there's people who, like, on TikTok, there's never a right time. Like, 2020 was like probably the mecca for everybody to blow up. There's people that just blew up yesterday.
Yep.
And they just started posting like a month ago. Like, it doesn't matter when you start. It's just a matter of starting and giving it your all, like truly trying.
Look, right now, as we're recording this, somebody's TikTok is about to go viral. Somebody's Instagram reel is gonna go viral. At the moment, there is a YouTube video going viral that's gonna be the next big fucking Addison Rae that we don't even know their name yet. Dude, you just gotta do it.
Yeah, you never know. You literally never know. What's the worst that happens? Nothing. Well, nothing was gonna happen if you didn't do it. So why not try? Like, for example, podcast. I've never done a podcast before. Like, this is weird. This is random to me. Like, weird. Like, I've never sat down in front of a camera and just like I said in the last episode. If we find it, you'll hear it. Like, there's literally no one else in the room. It's just us two. We're looking at like a camera on a stick. Like, it just feels so weird. There's literally
so
nothing
different.
else. Yeah, like, I feel weird talking. It just looks like I'm talking to nothing, and I'm not used to it. And it's uncomfortable. And do I think I want to do a podcast? I don't know. Now I'm starting to think so, but I don't really know. But at least I'm trying, because at the end of the day, if I didn't try, and this doesn't blow, and I do try it with here, and this doesn't blow up, well, then it's the same results. So it's like, well, shit. At least let me try it. What's the worst that happens? It blows up. Like,
facts.
it does what I wish it does. Like, that's probably the worst case scenario, which is not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. And look, even with that, assuming everything, like, it doesn't work right, at the end of the day, you have built the skill of sitting down and talking to a camera.
Exactly.
The fear of public speaking, it dissipates because you've done this before. I wanted to bring this up before when you said, like, what's the worst that happens, right? I literally watched it today, a Jordan Peterson clip, and it was saying why you should, like, do your insert, whatever it is you want to try now, right? Is because, I'll use the podcast as an example. We want to do this, right? So we're doing it now. Suppose we don't do it, but we know in the back of our heads, like, it's something we wanted to try, and then, you know, we don't do it. We're not happy with our situations, right? 5 years goes by. Well, guess what? We didn't do a podcast. We're still unhappy with our situations, and we're 5 years older.
Yep.
You don't go back to zero. If you don't try what it is that you want, that want to do it isn't gonna go away. But your starting point, your air quote zero, keeps moving further and further away. You're losing more as you don't try whatever your potential passion may be, as opposed to staying stagnant. Because unfortunate reality, time keeps moving. Every second we're getting older.
Yeah. So
you have to, you literally have to beat the ticking time that is life. And you have to try as much as you can. You have to live. You have to experience. You have to try podcasts. You have to try TikToks if this is what you're into, because that clock is ticking, man. That keeps going forward. Like,
yeah, and it's not stopping for no one.
Well, dude, I feel like yesterday, I can remember shit from being 16.
I feel like quarantine was 2 days ago.
Yo,
like,
dude.
Like, I remember quarantine like it was just yesterday. But yeah, I mean, and like with all that said, like, it probably sounds like we think we know what we're doing, but at least for me, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I still think about college, if I made a mistake or not. However, I don't dwell on it too much because I know college is not going anywhere. Like, my time is going to go somewhere. College is not leaving. So that's one. Do I feel like I'm falling behind in life? Sometimes, yes. And are there situations where I don't think it's the right time to do something, or I'm trying to think, is it the right time to do something? All the time. Like, I struggle. The reason why we're talking about these three is because we struggle with these three. Maybe if we actually took our own advice, it would probably be a little better. But, right? but yeah, like, just go out there and try. I don't know. Like, I don't know how. Like, we're trying, just try along with us. Like, what's the heck? What's the worst that happened? Yeah. Nothing. You're gonna be, if you don't do it, 2 years from now, you're still gonna be in the same position. Why not just give it a try?
2 years older. Even
if you don't feel like it's the right time, you don't have the right equipment. Just do what you can until you get the right equipment, and then it will be the right time. Like, instead of waiting that 1 year, you could have grown so much that 1 year and built it somewhat of an audience that 1 year. That now when you upgrade, it just picks up even so much quicker, faster, better. Whatever it is, it doesn't even have to be an audience. And just in general, whatever it is that you want to do in life, just start and try.
You just have to try. Like, take any big YouTuber or social media influencer, right? You can take, let's take Mr. Beast as an example, right? Pretty sure if you go on his YouTube channel, you were to flip the videos to the most, like, furthest uploads and see, like, one of his first videos, you think it's at the quality that it is of today? Like, no. If you look at somebody like that, they just started one day and they just figured it out. They just got progressively better.
Yeah. Even the content. Like, if you look at the content he started off with compared to now, very different. Like, not even remotely close. Like, he was saying Logan Paul for like 24 hours. And now he just recreated an entire Squid Game that had more views than the actual Squid Games. Like, it's insane. Like, you don't know what could actually happen. But yeah. Like, you don't know what could actually happen, you know? So, literally just try, man.
I don't remember who said it. I feel like it was Gary Vee, but it's like, no, it was Big Sean. It was like, it took me 15 years to be an overnight success. Like, you got work at it. And to other people, it's going to look like it was easy, or like the way we see.
Or luck.
Or luck. Like, we look at LeBron shooting a 3, and it's like, no, like, well, he should shoot that, right? Like, it's easy for him. It took him years for that to become easy for him. Yeah. Just like it could take years of talking for this to become easy.
Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with now, especially myself, like that instant gratification. Like, there are times where, like, I'll do things and then I don't get the result I want right away and I just kind of give up. And, like, I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to become self-aware. It's kind of funny too. Like, it's kind of contradictory. I don't know if I use that correctly, but in my personal life, because, like, with the gym, I know there's no instant gratification. Like, I know it's gonna take time to get there, and I don't have that issue in the gym. Like, I don't ego lift. Like, I understand. Like, because I'm at a point where I just like the process of going to the gym more than the actual results and the numbers I push. Obviously, I want to do those numbers and stuff, but I think if you fall in love, if you expect instant gratification all the time, like, and social media has created that for us, like, that's when you get into this rabbit hole of, like, this didn't work, oh, this didn't work, oh, I tried but this didn't work. But then, did you really try? Like, you maybe tried for a week, at best a month, and it didn't work. Well, what if you just tried for one more month? Who knows what could have happened? Like, you got to get rid of the instant gratification. Like, if you really think, like, if you really put your mind to it, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try this for the next 3-4 months, see what happens. You realize along the way, you know what, I don't like this. This isn't for me, whatever. Or maybe you end up liking it for the next 3-4 months. Well, then keep doing it, because the next 11 months and, like, 29 days, nothing's going to happen. But on that 30th day, boom, something happens. Like, and then you're called the overnight success. But it was never overnight. Like, you really put your all into it. It wasn't documented on a camera or something, so people don't see it. And that happens a lot to musicians, actually, where they get called overnight success. But a lot of them don't. A lot of people don't understand the amount of work they actually put into it. They think, oh, somebody just sang into a mic and that's it. But if you actually, like, see somebody create music, you really understand, like, it's not that simple. Yeah. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it.
Oh, dude. For musicians, there's probably years of refining the skill of writing, and then melodies and beats and X, Y, and Z. And then, one song blows up, and it's like, oh, this dude's a natural.
Yeah, I think we compare ourselves too much to, like, the exceptions to the rule. Like, generalizations obviously in certain things aren't the best, but when you really think about it, like, they're a generalization for a reason, because the general public goes that way. Like, an exception to a rule doesn't make the rule. So, like, for example, Lil Yachty, right? He decided to become a SoundCloud rapper as a joke, and 3 months later he has a Sprite commercial. Yeah. Called, like, Minnesota or whatever it was. Yeah. And, like, then, like, you can't compare yourself to that and then get disappointed when you've done 15 years and that doesn't happen. Like, some people, in some cases, there is luck involved, right? But, like, I don't know. I think we compare ourselves too much to, like, that 1% of people, or that's the small population of the people, and not the general public. Like, if you look at the general public and where you stand, you're probably in a much better place than you really think you are. But you're looking at, like, comparing yourself to people on Instagram and things like that. And if you really think about all those people, it seems like so much because you have access to all of them on social media. But in reality, they're at best like 1% of the actual population. Like, that's not the reality of it. It's like somebody who lives in a big city. Like, if you live in New York City or, like, the North Jersey area, and then you go to, like, Kentucky, it's like a complete culture shock. You're just like, what the heck? Like, people live like this? And it's like, yeah, like 90% of America lives like this. It's true. You're just part of the 1% that actually lives in a big city. Like, it's not that common for people to live that way. Like, the majority of America lives, like, in farms and things. Yeah. But people don't see it. Same thing with social media. Like, if all you see is people living lavish and getting instant gratification, not understanding that they're just exceptions to a rule. Like, they're a very, very tiny percentage that just had it happen quicker than others. and you compare yourself to that, and then you think, oh, well, it didn't happen for me in a month, so that's it, it's over. Like, I think that's a big issue that we deal with, including myself sometimes.
See, I think you brought up a really like deep point when you said like that 1% of the time. Like, take Instagram as an example. You realize how many people are getting fucking depressed over Instagram?
Yeah, and anxiety, all that stuff.
Like, understand, when you see anybody's Instagram page, you're not seeing them. Like, you are not seeing anything related to who they are. You're seeing their highlights.
Yeah.
Instagram is a highlight reel. And that's what it's become. How many likes can you get? Or who traveled the most? Or how many concerts did you go to? Like, that's what Instagram is. Instagram is just people's manic times. Like, the best times in somebody's life, those go on Instagram. So you're scrolling through somebody's feed and you're like, oh man, this dude went to Aruba. This dude went to Bad Bunny concerts and X, Y, and Z. But then you're looking here like, yo, trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
Like, but so you can't take Instagram too serious.
Yeah. I agree.
There's a lot of gratification and gratification withdrawals happening.
Yeah,
on Instagram.
There's a lot of assumptions too. Like,
there you go.
Like I don't know. You see things on Instagram, and like you said, it is the highlight reel, which is fine. Like, if you do those things, like if you want to post it, go ahead, post it. Like, it doesn't matter. But you shouldn't compare where you are to that. Yeah. Because you don't really know the actual truth behind it. It's like Drake said in one of his songs, I know a girl who's happily married until she puts her phone down. Like, it's true. Like, how many people do you know like that? Like, they post like, oh, me and my lover, whatever, or me and whoever, and they like, it looks like on the social media like their life is perfect. But if you actually know them, you know that's not the case at all. Like, what they're portraying is actually false. And it's because I think a lot of people want to fit an image instead of just being true to themselves and letting people interpret however they want to interpret. Like, I post stuff on my social media. I post it because I want to post it. I don't care whoever. If you think it's offensive, that's on you. If you think it's dope as fuck, that's on you. Like, I could care less. I'm just posting it because I truly want to post it. Like, it's for me. I'm posting it for me in reality. But you can take it however you want. But I don't know why a social media post should affect you. Like, certain posts, right? Because, like, if it's just like motivational stuff, I think that everyone should watch it. Like, cool, that's good, like, that's beneficial. But if you're looking at like Kim Kardashian and like comparing your body to her and your looks to hers, like, well, no, you're not the same person. You shouldn't be doing that either way, because you may not feel that way, but somebody else feels that way about you. Like just because your life isn't what someone else's is, doesn't mean that you're a failure or whatever the case may be. So I think that's a big issue. Okay, like I said.
Why you can't compare your day 1 to somebody else's day 3,724th. Like,
exactly. That's the other thing. You just see the success. You don't actually know how long or what they actually went through to get there. You don't see that kind of stuff. It's like the misconception with YouTubers, which I had, until you actually meet somebody who's successful on YouTube and you realize, oh wait, there actually is a lot of work that goes into it. Like, it's not just going think and just talking. Like in this case, like, it's a little easier, right? We just press the button, record, and we're just talking. But obviously, there's a little bit of production going on, and there's gonna be more production going on. And people who do like vlogs and other stuff, like, you look at it and it's like, oh, that's so stupid or whatever. Like, like, I can't believe this. But there's actually a lot of work that goes behind it. Like, people, unless you do something, you don't appreciate it. If you don't live through something, you don't understand it. It's the same thing.
I remember watching Logan Paul, and he was saying how he would be recording for like 15 hours a day and not sleeping because he was trying to get his next ideas right. And George saying, like, one time he was having a conversation with Logan Paul and his nose just started bleeding mid-conversation because of so many hours of not sleeping. But it's like, and if you look at just his videos, you'll be like, oh, this guy's just a goofy guy or whatever. But that's the work that has gone into his craft, which is why he is where he is today. Yeah. And it's like, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that even his highest fan will never see. A lot of work, shit ton of dedication with anything. Like
and like I don't know. I think it's more hard work and just trying than luck. Like, could luck play a role sometimes for like those like quick, like somebody posts a video today and like a month later they're 50 million followers out of nowhere? Like, yeah, there could be some luck involved in that, but for the most part there isn't. Like, I saw a Gary Vee video yesterday and he was saying how like he doesn't want people to think he got lucky. He wants them to know like no, he just grinded and got it, to put in their head like, no, if you just grind you can get it too. And he was telling the guy like he's scared to play the lottery because he's scared of actually winning, because then people are just gonna say, oh well, he just won the lottery, that's why he's where he is, so he got lucky. And not, instead of saying like, oh no, he just put in the work and got the results from putting in the actual work that was necessary, which is the truth. Like, you just put in the work, you get the result, type thing. So I don't know, it's pretty interesting.
It is. There's always gonna be, that's another thing, there's always going to be resistance to success. If you're succeeding at something and other people aren't, or other people have tried and they didn't succeed, they're going to resist your success. There's going to be, oh well, this dude's not really that good at talking to a camera, it's just luck.
No.
Like, I remember Jay-Z has it's like a skit at the beginning of one of his songs, and it's talking about him saying he's gonna be a rapper, and his uncle like, oh man, like oh well, whatever, yeah sure, you're gonna be a rapper, right? And saying like you should find another route, and Jay-Z says, just because it worked out for you that way doesn't mean it's gonna work out for me that way, because it may not have worked for you, but maybe you didn't put in 12 hours or 13 hours a day or 15 hours a day in some case, like, these are extreme examples, but you can't judge off of other people's successes and failures, because at the end of the day, it's how much hard work are you going to put in, or what's going to be your breaking point. And then, of course, luck is a thing, right? You know, you make 300 videos and one video catches the right set of eyes and that shares it to a person that ends up blowing it up, right? Yeah, there's luck involved, but it's all about the preparation when it comes to luck. Like, opportunity knocks on the door of preparation. Let's put it this way. Suppose a billionaire came here right now and was like, I want to pass on my life's work to you, but what can you do to keep it going? I don't really know. I'll figure it out, right? Or somebody who's been diligent and working, right? And let's say studied the businesses and runs businesses, and they were like, oh, I want to pass off my company to you so you can, this is also a really extreme example, but like keep it going, like take care of it, right? Guess what? That's an opportunity on the door of preparation.
Nope.
You don't just get the success. Yeah. In no aspect of life do you just get the success.
Yeah, like the classic line. Well, I forgot it. Not preparing is preparing to fail, right? That's how it goes? Yeah, not preparing is preparing to fail. Yeah.
That's a bar.
Yeah. No preparation. Not preparing is preparing to fail. There you go. I'll remember that one now. I heard it somewhere. Somebody said it before. I just can't remember who. But that's where I got it from. I didn't come up with it.
Preparation is key. And like, this is preparation.
Yeah.
And we're recording right now, but guess what? We're preparing for the next video.
Yep.
Because the next video is going to be a little better.
Yep.
And then the following video is going to be a little better.
Just little wins every single time. Just look for the little wins. Just take it from there. Take it one win at a time. You can only lose if you choose to curl up and tap out and say, okay, you win. That's the only way you lose. Because you could get knocked down, but if you learned how you got knocked down, well, then you just won, because now you can't get knocked down the same way again. Yep. So now there's a whole new way to that has to be figured out to get you back down. So every time something doesn't go your way, try to take as much learning lessons from it as possible. Just be like, okay, This is what I did wrong. This is what I could have done better. Oh, maybe if I did this would have worked. Okay, bet. Now I know for the next time, I'm going to do this, and this, because now it avoids this. And then that's probably going to bring on new problems. Mm-hmm. But then you learn, okay, wait, if I do this, then you learn this. But every single time you keep growing and growing and growing and growing. It's like people with businesses that I was going to say before. It's like, take people that are successful with businesses. The majority of them have failed at some business at some point. But for them, okay, they failed at this business, but not everybody failed at that business. There's people who are successful at that business. Mm-hmm. Maybe it just wasn't for them. So they moved on to the next one. And somebody else was successful at that business, but maybe it wasn't for them. They moved on to, like, it just keeps going and going and going. Like you were saying, like, I like that Jay-Z example. Like, oh, like, I don't know, it's iffy. It's like, yeah, maybe it didn't work out for you, but who's to say it's not going to work out for me? Mm-hmm. Your life doesn't dictate my life. Like, your success is not my success. Your failure is not my failure. Yeah, I may be in this situation, but I can do I'm going to do what I can do to get out of this situation or get into a better situation or whatever, and things like that. So
it's like, you're familiar with SpaceX, right?
Kind of. I know
Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
So when Elon Musk first was starting SpaceX, and,
I think I know the story you're gonna say. Yeah.
And the idea of bringing civilians to space, because that's ultimately SpaceX's goal, is to make civilian space travel possible. He got shitted on by everybody.
Yeah.
Fucking, what was that? I think it was Buzz Aldrin and like Neil Armstrong. Like, I don't know. Like, one of the original like astronauts that went to the moon first was like publicly spoke down on him for this, saying that this is a horrible idea, that such a thing cannot succeed, that this is like going against everything about space, right?
Yeah.
And guess what happened? He stuck with his vision. He kept going. And he took SpaceX and broke into a sector that was forever just a deal between NASA and the government, right? And now he's commercialized that and made that a business, to now where there's other space companies developing, to now the point where SpaceX is sending rockets into space and having these autonomous successful launches and everything. Like, the space industry has changed forever because of this man. But at the inception of the idea, it was, no, you can't do that. No, that's disgusting. Nah, that goes against everything we learned about space. Like, honestly, if you look at everybody, and I'm just having this realization right now as they're speaking, if everybody's telling you no,
it means you're doing something right.
Do it.
Yep, I agree. I was just going to say that, like, if your ideas sound insane to other people, then you're dreaming big enough, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I think you're dreaming big enough because it shouldn't make sense. It should only make sense to you because it's your idea, so you truly understand what it is you're trying to do with it. But if you just said something, everybody's like, yeah. It's like, I don't know. Like, for me, it's just kind of like, okay, cool. But, like maybe some, like, I'm not saying every goal has to be that way, but, like, maybe your ultimate goal just sounds like you say it to somebody and they just go, yeah. Like, you know, they just like, oh, yeah, they do this. Damn, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man, I hope it works for you.
Yo,
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you should try it. Give like that like kind of like they're agreeing to like be politically correct, but in their head they're like, get out of here, bro. Yeah. And like it wasn't the story I was expecting, but there's another story with Elon Musk about the SpaceX. I forgot what it was. He had obviously he had investors and stuff, and it failed so many times, the rocket, that it was literally, I think, the last attempt that he was ever going to be able to do. Then like if it didn't work, like the SpaceX program was going to just shut down. That's it. It was done forever. And it was on his very last try with his own money that he had to use from his own pocket. Granted, he's in a position where he was able to do it, but he had to use his own money and hire his own people. He didn't have the best of the best, none of that. He just had to hire what he could because no one wanted to be a part of it anymore because of so many failures, that on the last try is when it actually worked. And now you have SpaceX, and now you have fucking rumors of like a Space Force being created and all that stuff. Like, it's crazy. Now you have Virgin Mobile doing it and all these other companies, like you said. So
it only takes one. Listen, if you look at history is a series of icebreakers. There's that one person who breaks the ice, right? So for this case, let's say it's Elon Musk, right? He broke the ice and got into how do I word this? He broke the ice and made the space industry a business now. Yeah. Because up until like 15, 20 years ago, it was just NASA and governments. That's it. Now it's like there's NASA, there's Virgin Mobile, there's SpaceX, there's the one mission to Mars, which is still a fucking thing. I signed up for that, by the way, but you know.
I'm already from Mars, so yeah, I'll meet you there in a couple years. But yeah, like I agree with you, like all that stuff. It's I just lost my train of thought.
There's always gonna be the one person, the cliche, like the one person who walked so everybody else can run.
Yeah, but yeah, there we go. That kind of ties into what I was gonna say. So like even then, like people think you always have to be the first. Which, granted, obviously being first, it satisfies everyone's ego. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to be the first and everything. But even if you're not the first, like, we're not the first podcast.
Yeah.
We're not the first YouTubers. We're not the first this. We're not the first that. And sometimes the first isn't even the best. Sometimes the first creates the trend, and no one knows who the hell they are.
Mm-hmm.
They just know the one who did it the best or put the best version of their rendition on it. Like, TikTok videos, right? Or YouTube or podcast, like, I'm sure there's another podcast doing what we're doing,
mm-hmm.
but we are doing it genuine to who we are in our specific way that may create a different reaction than somebody else doing the same exact thing, but their certain way. So, like, just because it's saturated doesn't mean it can't be, like, you can't succeed in it either. You just got to put your own taste onto things. Like, don't try to copy. Maybe the general idea you can copy, but you can't copy the entire blueprint because then you're not you, and people are going to see right through that.
Look, if succeeding with saturation was impossible, there'd be no fucking Beyonce. There'd be no...
YouTube would have died years ago.
Yeah, there'd be no fucking hope, honestly, because we are herd-like creatures. When somebody succeeds at something, people are going to go there.
Yep.
But I think this is actually one of the beautiful things about human nature is, guess what? A lot of people are flocking to this. We want to get into the podcast game. A lot of people are starting podcasts. Guess what? Now the game is, let's be better than everybody else.
Yep.
Let's bring more value than everybody else. Like,
yep.
Then that's how I feel like things should be, as opposed to seeing it and be like, hey, there's a lot of people doing that. I'm going to go...
try to figure out something brand. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Which also, that shouldn't take away from the idea of trying to bring something brand new either.
Yeah.
Step on the how do I word this? Step on the backs of those before you. So if somebody's life work was to get to step B, step B, get to step B and now take the next step. Figure out how to take the next step. Right? And, bring value with that. And then, the following person goes the step forward, right? And goes to C, D, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Take what's in front of you and build upon it. That was a very long-winded way to say that, but yeah.
No, yeah. That's a good point. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kind of talked about a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like we started off with one topic, switched to another, but overall, I don't know. I liked it. Hopefully you guys liked the podcast too.
This was fun.
Yeah, so technically episode 2, if we find the actual tape, it will be episode 2. If not, episode 1.
Episode 1.
But yeah, I don't know. So that's it. Episode 1 or 2 from the Lost Boyz Podcast. I'm Gianni.
Brandon.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.